Hello, my amazing friend. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a few perspectives that may help you if you ever find yourself wanting to change the way another person thinks or feels about you, or if you find yourself anxious when you think about what might others be thinking about me. If on any level you find yourself caring about other people's perceptions of you, this video is for you. In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a little bit of my own story, because through my life, I've actually had experiences where I was so holding on to the thought of what other people's perceptions were of me. I'm going to share with you some of the perspectives that have really resonated with me, that have helped free up my energy around this. Then I'm going to see if anything else wants to come through around this topic, and then I'll share it with you. So, caring about what other people think of us is something really understandable. Some say that it's rooted in this real tribal thought. When we were in tribes and communities, it could be a death sentence to be rejected by your community. And also, we as humans, we are very naturally communal creatures. We're very community-based. So there's a lot of good reasons why we might feel very prone to caring about what other people think about us, to caring about other people's perceptions, and to investing energy towards it. The interesting thing, though, is twofold. I'm going to say twofold for now. There might be more folds. We'll unfold it as it goes. One is that we as humans, whether it's something you consciously practice or not, we're very sensitive to other people's intentions and energy fields. And I find that we can feel when someone else has hidden intentions for us, or when they're grasping at us or pushing us away. On some subconscious level, we can sense this with others. We are all communicating, both overtly, outwardly, but we're also communicating on quieter levels, on energetic levels, on subconscious levels, which is why sometimes we can feel like I don't know about that person, or I really like that person. You know, all of us, we're receiving signals all the time. When we on any level have a need or requirement of another, that is somewhere in our energy signature with them. Even if you think you are being really good about not being overt about it, it is something that we as humans can feel tangibly. You may have seen other videos, may or may not have seen other videos on YouTube, and there's a lot of different videos on magnetizing people or letting go of others. And one of the common threads that is talked about is when you stop grasping energetically, mentally, anything else at another person, your energy field immediately starts to be more magnetic. Think about it this way. Think about literally if someone was physically grasping at you. You may be someone who normally likes touch or even normally likes that person, but if someone keeps physically grasping at you, you might start feeling annoyed. You might want to position yourself away from that person. You might find it a little unattractive. Like, it might feel a little bit like, oh, this is like like someone wants from me, it's needy from me, but they're not really seeing me. And my theory on that is, if you think about someone being attached to you, it's often far less about care for you and more about what they want for themselves. So on an unconscious level, even if someone appears to be attached or wanting us, we understand that it's not necessarily an expression of love. And that may slightly demagnetize us. So, when we are wanting, grasping, thinking, needing of another person, on some level we are putting out like these little energy tentacles. I kind of like the visual on that, little energy tentacles. And the more sensitive a person is, the more likely they are to feel it. And you know, I'm going to make a statement here that this isn't a judgment about moving that way through the world. It's just an observation. When you have that kind of energy towards others, people can feel it on some level. And psychologically, a few ways that this could play out, I'm going to share one of them, is when someone feels needy energy from another, they understand that that person is trying to move towards them, so they don't necessarily feel a need to reach back out. This is where you sometimes get the attached avoidant kind of scenarios where someone's chasing someone else who's running away. When you approach situations with others from a place of like, I genuinely do not need anything from you. There are things that I may enjoy doing with you. I may love you. I may want to create with you. I may be open to connecting and doing things, but I am not going to place my expectations or requirements of feeling fulfilled on you. What I am going to do is I'm going to meet you. We are going to connect, and we are going to explore what feels resonant for both of us and all of us. Because when we approach our relationships that way, with a sense of, it's almost loving detachment. And detachment sometimes gets a bad rap because people think, oh, detachment means like you don't care. No, detachment just means that you are not attaching yourself to a person. Detachment simply means that you are fully present. This kind of detachment I'm talking about means that you are fully present, fully engaged. Your heart is open. You are ready to go all in. But you are not saying, and this has to work between us. Otherwise, I'm going to freak out. I'm going to be devastated. Right. If you notice, when we approach our relationships more from this way of detachment and truly showing up with a full and open heart, with a full desire to connect in the most authentic way, we create a field, a vortex, a portal, an opportunity with another for them to show up as their most authentic selves, whatever that is. And remember, you're not attached to what that will be. So their most authentic selves might still be kind of jerkish in that moment. It might be still kind of jerkish towards you. The goal is you're not trying to evoke any kind of response from them. What you are doing is you are inviting the parts of them that may have just never been invited before to be present in that moment, to be witnessed, so that you can each make your independent choices on how you would like to collectively move from here. And what's so amazing about that is sometimes, like, the shock of being truly met for another person, like the shock of being like, oh my gosh, this person's actually just here and present with me, can sometimes trigger a transformation in that moment. Because a lot of times there's parts of us that just haven't been seen or acknowledged by another, and sometimes not by ourselves. And so the act of being fully present with another person, of being in your own energy and space, but being fully present and open and curious with the other person, can often spark something really profound. And in a lot of ways, this is the genesis of what I perceive as our new way of moving collectively. Because it's not about necessarily losing our individual way of perceiving. It's not about losing the self. If anything, you in a lot of ways become even more yourself, whatever the self is, by participating in this process, I perceive. But it's also, it's this opportunity for us to all see who we actually are. Because when we're not putting on theater with another, not only are we giving them an opportunity to show up in a very genuine way, we give ourselves opportunities to show up in a genuine way. We're not trying to conform to a certain outlook for another person. We are being honest enough with ourselves and with others to show up in that moment and be like, okay, here's who I am. Who are you? And it's a willingness to feel rejection or to feel unseen or to do any number of things, because once again, you're not attaching a outward need towards the interaction with the other person. And what I have found when I have embraced that way of being is more quickly do I find my very authentic connections and friendships and partnerships, and more quickly do I find the right projects or the right clients or anything else, because I'm not attempting to create a short-term solution to address something in a world that I think is maybe not hospitable to who I really am. Because that's what I was doing before in my life. When I would attempt to augment myself beyond what my values were, on some level I was saying life cannot support the true me, and I need to find a way to shift, and I need to find a way to find other people to accept me in that shift. And what that did was cause a lot of confusion in the long term for myself and for those that I was connecting with. And I don't have, at this juncture, I don't have a conscious judgment about myself in that journey, in that role, because I also understood that I was moving with the wisdom I had, with the knowledge I had, with the way that I thought was going to be the most loving and supportive in the world. And that's all any of us are doing, which is why there's really no need to be upset or ashamed about any perceived mistakes that we might make along the way, because it is all part of the embodiment process. And so with that, I feel that's the appropriate place for us to reflect a bit on what was shared about standing in your own energy and power. I'm going to have some resources in the description and some links. And if this video has been helpful, please do feel free to share, to like. If you have any questions or thoughts you'd like to contribute, I always love connecting in the comments. And I look forward to diving in deeper with you in our next video.